Hello everyone, welcome to Sunya IAS and welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, we are going to cover the topic of Anganwadi Workers and System, the Anganwadi System itself. Now, very important topic and we will discuss it thoroughly because it is important for multiple papers. It is actually important for 3 papers and we'll discuss it how. But before we go forward, let's just talk a little bit about how we are supposed to utilize these lectures. See, every day we are posting these lectures and there is a purpose behind it. The purpose is to make you mains ready, right? Because जब prelims आने वाला होता है तो people get so involved in the prelims preparation, which is important also, but they completely forget the analysis part of it. They completely forget the application part of it. So these videos, even if let's say every day you are getting a half an hour video, 40-minute video, so you watch the video, you make the notes, or if you already have the notes through the books, that is also fine. So put that time and एक topic आपका mains का cover होता जाएगा, right? I hope you'll understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, so one thing, the first thing that I want to address it is regarding notes. So the notes of these classes you can get through 2 ways. One is that you can make handwritten notes while the class is going on, right? That is one way. The second is that you can order the Shunya books, right? The Shunya GS 2024 books that are out now. GS 1, 2, 3, 4. So for example, this particular topic you will find in the GS 2 book, right? So this is the way. So people keep asking that, you know, where can we get the notes? Where can we get the notes? This is I'm telling you, here you can get the notes. Now that is one thing. The next thing regarding this particular topic itself, where will you use the topic of ASHA workers? ASHA workers and overall the Anganwadi system. This entire regime that has been created is helping in improving the health indicators, right? This is what it is. It is helping in improving the health indicators. So health primarily is covered in GS2. We all know that, right? But a smart aspirant, a hardworking and smart working aspirant would also not shy away from using the Anganwadi system as an example of rural development, right? And as a suggestion that Anganwadi workers and the ASHA workers can actually be utilized to implement a lot of schemes. For example, the Jal Shakti mission, the Jal Jeevan mission, that means it becomes important for GS3 as well, right? And in GS1, when you talk about society, society is a separate header of GS1. And what is society about? Apart from the caste, apart from the religion and those topics, it is also about the poverty. It is also about the interlinkages. And when you give the way forward to any situation, especially when it comes to the poor section of the society or the women and children aspect of the society, the ASHA workers can end up being an example, right? So that is what I'm trying to say. Health is the primary application of this topic, no doubt about it. But it has secondary applications also, and that is how you breach the marks of, let's say, out of a 250 marker, if in every answer or every other answer you have made that special effort to grab half a mark extra, then just think about the fact that you will be getting plus 10 in each paper. That means you will be getting plus 40 in overall. This plus 40 can determine your selection, right? It can determine your clearing of mains. It can determine your clearing of selection. I have seen people who have missed mains by 1 mark, 2 mark, 5 marks, 10 marks, and it hurts, right? So it's best that you prepare yourself to create those perfect kind of answers, which will again not fetch you more than 5 or 5.5 marks. The best of the answer will fetch you 5.5 out of 10, but still it is better than having a 4 out of 10 or a 3.5 out of 10. Makes a difference. Okay. So with this, let's start up with Anganwadi workers and the whole system. Now, when we talk about the Anganwadi system, just write down in your notes how to define. If you get a separate question, a 10 marker on a 15 marker on this entire architecture of the Anganwadi system, then you should be having your definitions ready. So please write down that Anganwadi workers are important functionaries. Anganwadi workers are important functionaries in the Integrated Child Development Scheme. Integrated Child Development Scheme, ICDS. I'm not writing the full form of this. Please write it down yourself. Integrated Child Development Scheme, as a who functions as a community worker. Who functions as a community worker to deliver services related to health and education at the grassroots level. At the grassroots level, both rural and urban, right? So see how many keywords you have dropped. I have written only the keywords over here: functionaries, ICDS, community worker, services, health, education, and grassroots. These are all keywords, but in a single definition, how many keywords you have dropped, right? This is very important. So this is the definition of an Anganwadi worker. Then you write down the definition of the Anganwadi system, right? Anganwadi system, please write down. Anganwadi system is an integral part of the ICDS scheme itself. If you remember, Article 45, which was amended by 86th Constitutional Amendment Act, Article 45 talks about early childhood care and education. Earlier, it used to talk about the education of children from 6 to 14 years. Now, it talks about early childhood care and education. So, Anganwadi workers are trying to target the early childhood care and education 0 to 6 years के जो बच्चे होते हैं, plus the mothers of newly born, lactating mothers बोलते हैं, and the pregnant women also. Why such a big scheme for this section of the society? Because they determine the demographic dividend of our future. It is said that entire brain is developed by 6 years of age. ऐसा बोला जाता है, साइंस ने प्रूव किया है. So that is why this 0 to 6 years का overall एक जो पैरामीटर दिया गया है, that is the target group, right? So Anganwadi system is a centrally sponsored scheme. Centrally sponsored means even states contribute in this. It's not a central sector scheme, it's a centrally sponsored scheme under Ministry of Women and Child Development. Ministry of Women and Child Development. Okay. It focuses, and this is not your introduction, this is, I'm telling you to write down what exactly are the services that the Anganwadi system or the Integrated Child Development System scheme seeks to provide. The first is supplementary nutrition. Supplementary nutrition. Write this down if you're making notes, or if you have the book, then it's fine. Supplementary nutrition, basically you would have, for example, heard about fortified rice, right, which has higher iron quantities, etc. So supplementary nutrition is to manage the micronutrient deficiency that develops due to poverty, due to lack of nutritious food that children do not get access to, right? Then there is preschool non-formal education. There is preschool non-formal education. So why non-formal? Because it's not dependent on exams, it is not dependent on books, etc. It is dependent on community interaction. The first experience of the child outside the home. And that is why it is so important that the preschool experience, you know, preschool has become a very fashionable term. You send them to nursery, then KG, then, you know, first class, second class and all. But why should it be restricted only to the rich and the elite kids? Is it that the kids of the poor people, those kids do not deserve early childhood care? That is not true. right? So this is like preschool non-formal education, wherein they teach children how to sit, how to use the washroom, how to, just survive in a social setting. That is what preschool non-formal education means. Then the third thing is nutrition and health education. Nutrition and health education. Why is this important? Do you think they will be educating about nutrition and health to the 0 to 6-year-old child? No. This component is mostly for the pregnant and lactating mothers on what they should eat so that their children are healthy, right? That is there. A very important aspect is immunization. Immunization. You would have heard about the mission Indradhanush, right, wherein we are trying to immunize the children against every possible disease, preventable disease, right? So that is also, we are trying to cover immunization also under the ICDS program. Another is health checkup. Health checkup. Frequent health checkups, periodic health checkups, so that the younglings, the youngsters, the children, they are not left behind. And if, let's say, someone is developing a sort of a rare disease, it is detected early. For example, children nowadays are developing childhood diabetes a lot. So these kind of things are very important, that every child should have access to periodic checkups. And finally, referral services. Referral services. If you find out, unfortunately, that this child has some serious issue, you will refer them to a higher body, right? Higher medical body, which will then take care of them. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 components. Now, if you get a question separately on this ICDS program and this Anganwadi and everything, if you write these 6 pointers, there is no way that you will not get a mark or 1.5 mark extra, because trust me, most people would not be making this effort at all. Okay, they'll just write generic point, okay, health checkup and this and that, food. These specific points would not be there. So it's your responsibility that you write them, and if a question comes up, which every year you get 1 or 2 questions on specific schemes, so it is very much expected that you can get it this time as well, right? So that is there. Now just note down some of the statistics that will help you to create a very decorated answer, right? How many centers are there, etc. So for example, how many Anganwadi centers are there? As of 2023, there are about 13.9 lakh Anganwadi centers. So you can write approximately 14 lakh. You can write it like this. It is easier to revise also. About 14 lakh, approximately 14 lakh Anganwadi centers, right? Because next year when you will be writing in 2024, most probably it will touch 14 lakh, right? So this you can write. Then overall, how many people, and this is most important, this is the most important criteria, that actually how many people are being benefited out of this scheme. So there are about 30 million children. 30 million children, which makes about 3 crore children. We understand better in terms of crore. 3 crore children who are actually benefiting out of this scheme. So it's a huge number, and these 3 crore children are from this age group, 3 to 6 years age group, not even 0 to 6 years age group, right? So this is very important. Then how many functionaries are there? How many Anganwadi workers are there? So there are about 2 million Anganwadi workers, which is about 20 lakh Anganwadi workers that are currently functioning. Okay, I hope you will remember this. And overall, how many people are being served? Overall, there are 70 million people being served. It includes all the children, it includes all the mothers, right? The pregnant and lactating mothers. So it's a huge number. 70 million means 7 crore people. Now you might say, okay, we have 140 crore people. How does 7 crore matter? It is all about targeting various people through various schemes. So if 7 crore people are being impacted by a single scheme, it is a very important topic for the UPSC examination. Just know that. Okay. Now I have already told you the objective, but just understand the whole structure also. There are the Anganwadi workers who are running and making the Anganwadi centers functional. What is their primary job? Their primary job is early childhood care and education. Okay, that is number one. This is the structure that I am explaining to you along with the objective, that what does each person do in this scheme. Anganwadi workers provide early childhood care and education. Then there is auxiliary nurse midwife. In olden times and even today, there is this concept of dai, right? Whenever someone is about to give birth, they have an old lady. They prefer to have with them an old lady who has had the experience of, delivering multiple children and even being a mother, being a grandmother herself. So whenever you arrive at an Anganwadi center, and let's say if you're a pregnant woman, then you will have auxiliary nurse midwife support, right? So this is overall care of pregnant and lactating mothers. Very important. In fact, when a lady is pregnant and she just delivers the child, because that experience is so new, the mother also does not know many a times what to do exactly with the child, right? How to feed the child, how to, bathe the child, how to do a lot of things, how to manage the child overall. So there is a requirement of auxiliary nurse midwife over there, and this is different from Anganwadi workers, because Anganwadi workers will be giving food to the 3 to 6 year old children and everything. They'll be managing the play school aspect of it. But this is specific to the pregnant and lactating mothers. Then accredited social and health activists, the ASHA workers. They have been very much in news because they have been protesting. In 2023 itself, they were protesting against the non-payment of dues. So ASHA workers, they are also similar to the Anganwadi workers, in fact sometimes used interchangeably, but they are implementers. They implement the particular scheme, and they are even inducted for various different schemes that are announced. Okay, so overall the health and care aspect of it. So these three aspects, and these are mostly female workers. So these three aspects might look as if they are overlapping, but there are some specifications. So for example, if there is certain paperwork, right, there have to be paperwork, there has to be form filling, etc. The midwife will not do that. It will be the ASHA worker who do that. There will be some level of literacy that would be expected out of an ASHA worker, right? So that is there. This is the structure and the objectives side by side. Now I have already told you, but just let's see in a very structured format, what are the services provided by the scheme, the Anganwadi scheme. So there is nutrition and health education, as I told you. And who does it target? The people who are targeted, basically the women who are targeted, 15 to 45 years की जो women होती हैं, this age group, 15 years to 45 years. Now you might say, ma'am, 15 is less than an adult 15-year woman, but the reality is that even a 15-year-old girl or woman is also getting pregnant in our country and delivering the baby, right? So that is why this wide coverage, and this can even be important for your prelims examination, that what is the age that is being targeted. It is 15 to 45. And what kind of services, what kind of education? See, counseling. They are giving counseling to them. They are giving emergency support to them. I'll give you an example. There is this phenomena which very few people in our country understand that it actually exists. That phenomena is called postpartum depression. Postpartum postpartum depression. What is postpartum depression? See, when a mother is pregnant for 9 months and then she delivers, for 9 months she develops a lot of attachment to this particular creature that is growing inside her, this life that is growing inside her, and then suddenly at one moment that life is separated from her. Okay, so that creates postpartum depression. And socially also what happens is that till the time the mother is pregnant, all the attention is on the mother, all the support is given to the mother, everything is everything is the mother. But as soon as she delivers, the entire attention of the entire family, the entire relative shifts from the mother to the child, right? So invariably the postpartum depression starts kicking in, that one time I was I was everything for these people, but now I am not, and my baby is also not inside me now. So this phenomena, people are not aware about it. And when women act differently after delivering, they are given a very tough time for it, right? In that situation, if they have someone in the form of ASHA workers, in the form of midwives, who can tell them that what you are feeling is completely normal, who can come to their house and actually counsel the family that you need to take care of her, imagine how happy this situation would be, right? So nutrition and health education, that is why it matters, and that is why this scheme is so important. Then immunization, I told you about it. It's not just about the children, also the women. So for example, the women 15 to 45 years, whoever are taking support from the Anganwadis, they are being immunized for tetanus. Why tetanus, you might ask? See, they have to be immune to, they have to be made immune to any kind of infections, right? So tetanus is one thing. Otherwise, though the vaccines which are required, they are of course covered under various schemes, right? So that is there. Then basic health services, whatever is required to the mother and the child, they are given. So that is just very basic. Referral services, if the child is born with any kind of issue, if higher medical assistance is required, then they'll give. Preschool education, this is a very important aspect, and here is where you need to remember Article 45. Early childhood care and education, how to hold a thing, how to say hello, how to, you learn ABCD and all. So preschool education, very beautiful experiences. Supplementary nutrition and growth monitoring and promotion. So from time to time their height is measured, their weight is measured. So for example, the younger children are measured once a month, and if their height is not growing normally, if there are symptoms of dwarfing or if there are any other issues, then they can be tracked in early times, and the solution can be reached towards. So we don't understand it because we have not seen it around us, most of us. But this scheme is actually helping millions of people to deliver healthy babies, millions of women to remain healthy post their delivery, right? So that is what I just told you is basically the significance of it. But let's just write down the points of significance. See, you need to be very selective about what you will write in your mains answer. We will provide you 10-15 points. You need to pick and choose which you will add to your notes, right? So it is a unique scheme. It is one of the largest schemes of this kind which is running in the entire world. Will you write this point in your mains? No. Because this is not adding any value. This is just to tell you that yes, it is a very unique scheme and it is one of its kind in this entire world. Don't write it. It is not adding value. Then it helps in conducting community level surveillance. So there is something called, like you must have heard, community policing. Similarly, there is something called community health care. So where are the ASHA workers coming from? They're coming from the same village. They're coming from the same district. They are the people who already are known to these people, these women. So community level surveillance is important. It leads to community level surveillance, and that is why community healthcare is also encouraged. Community healthcare is encouraged. I hope you understand that. Doorstep delivery of medicines also happens because, you know, when let's say a woman is in the 7th or 8th or 9th month of her pregnancy, then you cannot expect her to come to the, you know, center that way. So doorstep delivery is a point that you will write. This is the significance. You are supposed to write this. Overall spreading awareness, this point is generic. You're not supposed to write this in your mains. Okay. This is very important. Providing affordable and accessible healthcare. SDG 3 talks about good health and well-being, right? So providing good health and well-being, ASHA workers and overall Anganwadi system is working towards that. Okay. So providing affordable, accessible healthcare. Community mobilization, similar to community healthcare. Eliminating malnourishment. And here you can write that you find out stunting, you find out about wasting, you find out about undernourishment at early stages by monthly detection of height, weight, etc. Even, you know, eye scans are done. So that is there. Then ensuring access to government programs. So that is, for example, Janani Suraksha Yojana. Janani Suraksha Yojana is encouraging institutional deliveries by the women. That women don't give birth at their home in an unsupervised way. They should give birth in a proper hospital setting. Right? So who will make them aware? Who will make the woman aware? Let's say a woman is pregnant and she is made aware that, okay, you go to the hospital next time you're pregnant or someone around you is pregnant, and you will get money also for delivering in the hospital. So access to government programs. And overall, the ASHA workers played a major role in fight against COVID. Okay, the delivery of the mass distribution of sanitizers, masks, basically telling the rural population especially what social distancing means, right? So that was where ASHA workers were very important, and that's why after COVID ended, पहले भी ऐसे होता था कि आशा वर्कर्स डिड नॉट गेट you know, their dues on time, but after COVID ended and after that when they were not given their dues on time, they came to the streets and they stopped working कि we have been working not just for our scheme but for other schemes also and we have not been paid, right? So that is there. Mechanism I have already told you. See, Anganwadi centers are there. I have already made you understand our Anganwadi centers. There are about 14 lakh Anganwadi centers approx. Okay. So they function both in rural and urban areas. Anganwadi workers and Anganwadi helpers. Helpers are the midwives, workers are there. Digitally strengthened. So for example, there is the Poshan Abhiyan. Poshan Abhiyan is for the women and children. And as I told you in just the previous slide, that Anganwadi workers are actually helping spread awareness about other government schemes also. So there is this Poshan tracker. There is this Poshan tracker that is of course a digital tool, and that has been explained and adopted by the Ministry of Women and Child Development. And what is the aim of this Poshan tracker? That efficient delivery of this nutritious food and the immunization should happen, and those deliveries have to be tracked as well. They should not be vague. Okay. Then compensation. They get a monthly allowance and they get incentives also. Monthly allowance is pretty low. It's just 3,500 rupees. But then, and this is one of the demands that, you know, it's such a low allowance that you are giving us, and then also you are withholding that allowance. So this is not done. Incentive, performance based incentive is given to them. Okay. Performance linked incentive, and this is the overall mechanism. Okay. Then this is similar thing that I have already told you. There are some major points that you can take. For example, these are the agents of social change. It is actually the ASHA workers who even spread awareness about the lesser known topics, lesser talked about topics like family planning. Topics like family planning and contraception, they are not topics which an average Indian would be okay talking to about to any random person. But if it is a person to whom the wife has been going very regularly, and that to a female worker, है ना, who has delivered the kid of the family, then there is a comfort level, right? There is a comfort level. And don't forget that ASHA workers are also the people who are early teachers as well. The early childhood care and education is done by the ASHA workers. So they are agents of social change. What they teach the child till the age of 6 is extremely important, right? So that is there. During COVID, they helped in tracking the migrants. During COVID, they helped in surveying and monitoring the overall cases, etc. And of course, distribution of masks and things like that. So that is there. Now, of course, as a smart UPSC aspirant, there is no point that we end any answer or write any answer without addressing the issues and challenges. So just see, in your UPSC sheet, you don't get space to write it in such a broad manner, but you have to extract points from each of these headers and make them 6 to 7 challenges. So there are 6 headers. You don't have to write 3, 3, 4, 4 points each header. Please understand. You write 6 points, 6 challenges. It will be a miracle if you will be able to write 6 challenges in the exam perspective, because you have to write the structure also, you have to write the advantages also, you have to write the challenges also, and way forward also. So बैलेंस योर पॉइंट, और नोट्स में उतना ही सामान लिखो जितना कि आपको रटने की जरूरत है. जेनेरिक चीजें मत लिखो अपने नोट्स में. इवन इफ यू हैव द बुक्स राइट नाउ, कीप ऑन cutting down the points that you don't need to revise again and again. Understanding what I'm saying? So what are the issues or challenges? So first of all, the biggest economic issue is that they are underpaid. I told you the allowance is just 3500 rupees per month, which is actually very less, right? So that is there. Socially, it is not very easy to talk, like I was talking about contraception and family planning. Not very easy to accept these kind of topics, and there are caste issues as well. Okay, if the ASHA worker is from a so-called lower caste, there will be families, because of the caste distinction and everything, there will be families, there will be people who will not be very comfortable in sending their children, right? This is the harsh reality. Then administrative issues, they are not well trained. So for example, I told you 0 to 6 years maximum brain development, almost 100% has happened. Just imagine, how are we letting women or overall people who are not very well qualified actually teach these 0 to 6 years age के जो बच्चे होते हैं? I mean, it is our responsibility to make sure that these ASHA workers should be highly qualified. उल्टा हो रहा है यहाँ पे. The higher education teachers are of course very highly qualified in our country, and the lower, मतलब the primary education and the early childhood education, वहाँ पे कुछ बार ही नहीं है, right? There is no minimum education, there is no even sometimes no requirement of literacy also. So this is the problem, this is a big problem. Training नहीं है. देन पोषण अभियान, पोषण ट्रैकर को यूज करने का जो एक स्किल चाहिए होता है, डिजिटल स्किल टू यूज द पोषण ट्रैकर, दैट इज नॉट देयर. रिसेंटली मोबाइल फोन, स्मार्टफोन्स वर डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड टू द आशा वर्कर्स, सो दैट वाज अ गुड थिंग. बट ओवरऑल digital awareness is low. Financial lack of funding for the overall program, right? When you have about 14 lakh Anganwadi centers, you should progressively increase that funding, right? That is not happening. Infrastructure wise, we have inadequate number of Anganwadi centers, especially in the urban areas. See, people are coming to the urban areas for finding out jobs, right? For jobs. So they are bringing their children also sometimes. Do the children who are growing up in slums, etc., do they not deserve education if they are in the urban areas? They are not able to go to fancy private schools. So in the urban areas, there is infrastructural issue. Not a lot of awareness is there. Like I would want you to think how many of you are aware of the nearest Anganwadi center that is there around you, right? That is there. So, and overall, human resource is an issue. Recently, they were not paid, and the entire strike thing happened. So, these are the issues. Now, these are some of the measures taken. A reformed version of this scheme, that is Saksham Anganwadi. Saksham means self sufficient. So, Saksham Anganwadi, the goal is that per year 40,000 Anganwadis have to be upgraded in towards the positive direction. So digitally upgraded, infrastructurally upgraded, resource wise upgraded, then skill wise upgraded. So every year 40,000 per year. Per year, that is Saksham Anganwadi. So this is the goal, right? And what is the goal overall? 2 lakh Anganwadis are being targeted, right? 2 lakh Anganwadi centers. So this is something very good. Then recently it was also found out that this Saksham Anganwadi program is being substantiated by Manrega. And as it should, in the rural areas, Manrega is there to create durable assets, durable community assets. And these Anganwadi centers are definitely durable community assets. You build a Anganwadi center, it will serve there for 50 years, 70 years, maybe more, right? So this is something that is good. And ICT integration, as I told you, the portion tracker. So this is something, these are tangible things that have been done, and this must reflect in your answers if you get a separate question on it. Of course, if you just get a question on overall aspect of health, then do not write all these things. But overall, if you get a separate question on this, you have every pointer that you need. Then Anganwadi workers, they have been given smartphones, the mobile phones. Then the guidelines for them to immunize the children and to deal with the lactating mothers, etc., have been streamlined, and their training is being increased. They are being increasingly trained. For example, 26 days per year they get trained. So it's about a month per year they get trained on the skills that are required. So these are some good things, but still the infrastructural aspect is pretty saddening, and there needs to be these Anganwadis, they need to be colorful, they need to be clean, they need to be places where people want to send their children and where the children want to come every day, right? So that is there. So overall, what can be the way forward? These are very, very simple. Wages definitely have to be expanded. Digitization has to happen. Then telemedicine, like we have e-Sanjeevani, right? We have e-Sanjeevani for online OPD. Similarly, for the lactating mothers, pregnant and lactating mothers also, there has to be some kind of a digital connectivity, so that even sitting at home, they can ask the Anganwadi worker that, okay, I'm feeling stomach pain, or this kind of sensation is happening. What should I do right now? Every time they should not be required to go to the Anganwadi center. Awareness generation, incentivization, and ensuring accountability. What if there is problem in the way a midwife is delivering the child, right? What if there is some mishappening that has happened? Who is to be blamed for that, right? So accountability has to be fixed. It should not become a government job mindset जो होता है ना कि मतलब एक बार हमें we have got this job, then we are not going anywhere, we can do whatever we want. That is overall जैसे government job mindset बोलते हैं, right? Then what do we need further? We need to expand the coverage, especially in the urban areas. Just like we have expanded the One Nation, One Ration card scheme, we have introduced it so that the migrants to the urban areas, they can benefit from the public distribution scheme anywhere. Similarly, here also we have to expand the coverage. Basic amenities should be there, service conditions need to be improved, technology, universalization of the Anganwadi workers, and there should be whole of government approach. Like, we have Gati Shakti mission. What is Gati Shakti mission? That 16 ministries are coming together, and whatever they are implementing, they are first collaborating with each other and then they are implementing, so that there's no duplication of effort. Similarly, whole of government approach should be there, in the sense that ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि जो सरपंच हैं, he has a different vision for the Anganwadis, then the SDM has a different vision, then the block development officer has a different vision, MLA has a different vision, MP has a different vision. No. The government, entire government structure should align so that final result is coming. That is called whole of government approach. Okay, I hope you understand that. So yes, that is all for the for this particular topic, the Anganwadi workers and the scheme of Anganwadi. Very important aspect of the topic of health, and very extensive notes I'm sure you have made if you were making handwritten, and if you have the books, then also you would see that there are very extensive notes. So just write whatever you need to write, only that, and then move forward and keep on revising it for your mains perspective. So I hope you derived some value out of this lecture. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you for watching.